Welcome back to the episode of Unranked Podcast. Got Grant back here with you, Elijah here with me as well. What we're going to jump into today is just go over games from this past weekend. We have the Lions. They were in prime time Thursday night, handled business pretty quickly. Feels like a while ago too. But yeah, they did their thing, and then Michigan followed up with a very solid performance. I think we were in agreement calling like more like a statement game type of performance we were looking for. So yeah, want to just kind of throw it over to you, E. We got some new opponents obviously coming up this week. Michigan travels to Minnesota, and the Lions at Carolina. I'm coming to town. We'll start off with Michigan. Just want to see your thoughts on what you thought of the Nebraska game and just some of the key takeaways overall.
Yeah, so I think that was the game that we both talked about. We both wanted to see one of those things where we had been doing enough, like solid victories, but nothing too sexy, nothing that's gonna make the committee look at you as a number one team in the country, nothing that's gonna put too much fear in people across the country, down south in Ohio, whoever you're looking to put a little fear in. I think that was something that we needed to do. Something I said last week was we don't need to play the best that we're going to play this year, but we need to play the best that we have played. And that was definitely what we did. Took care of the ball. Defense played stout. I mean, minus that one run in the fourth quarter, junk runs. That was, as far as I'm concerned, that was a shutout. That was back there. None of our defense was in. I mean, it is what it is. But from opening kickoff until the very end of that game, we were the better team, dominating team, imposing our will offensively, defensively. JJ played a clean game, thank God. Blake got some work. The Roman Wilson connection is still happening. Rocking that number one is how it should be. I think he's leading in touchdowns for receiving, and Blake is leading in rushing touchdowns in the entire NCAA. Defense, number one scoring defense in the country, or not scoring, but points allowed. So when you look at having all those different number one ranked positions or units, I think that is, only shows that we're heading in the right direction. I loved every minute of
it. Yeah, no, I echo a lot of that. I think for me, like, I'm still just kind of blown away by like the depth. Like, I think that to me is like we just haven't, you've seen it kind of like trend in the last couple of years. You kind of hear about like a lot of guys, freshmen, sophomores kind of contributing, but like, I mean, I think for me, it's just kind of crazy to just see like in a whole, if we just kind of go through like that first quarter. So, you got get the ball, go down, score. You got true sophomore Kenneth Grant gets that tip pass interception with, tip pass from Braden McGregor that's been in the program. Like he's a senior. And then get the ball, go down, Khalil Mullins, third back,
where that come from?
spring back, 20-yard run. And then I can fast forward into the game to where there's a couple times where Nebraska tried to go for it on like 4th and 1, like 4th and 2. Like, this is where I'm like, we're probably going to get this. You know what I'm saying? I get the chances of them getting it are high. Then you see Keon Sabb. Like, I see he's the one that's making the play like 2-3 yards in the backfield from the safety position. And I'm just sitting here like, I'm like, this is just, to me, it's like, I just love to see it. Like, I think last year, and I've said it a lot of times, I'm probably going to keep referencing it just because it keeps making more and more sense as this season goes on, just the injuries. He's had guys like bodies dropping at the end of last year. And I think like just the talent we've been able to bring in, how these guys are being developed, they're seeing all this time, like in Big Ten play, on the road, like just getting these like reps, like this makes you feel great about, where we're trending, in the right direction. And just really, I think this game, like you hit it right on the head. Like, I think this game, the media is talking about us a lot differently than they were last week. We're in some people's top 10s, like we're number one, because, Georgia, they're kind of struggling, like a lot of teams are starting to just like say like, oh, okay. Like, like Michigan, like we understand where they are now. Like they're a team that, like, I think one commentator, Joe Clapp, I think he calls us like a boa constrictor. Like he just says that they just kind of squeeze, life out of people slowly, like quietly, just like it's like inevitable. So I just feel like we were just hitting on every side of the ball. It was just very impressive outing. So
Yeah, no, I think a ball constrictor is a great reference to what we're trying to do. You
yeah,
know, you when you hear analysts talk about Michigan or fans talk about Michigan, it's physical, imposing our will, in depth.
mm-hmm.
We have depth at running back. We have depth at the defensive line. We've had players go down that and young players, not freshmen, but somebody like Sab, who
Yeah,
more or less thought he probably thought he would get this many snaps the whole year that he's got through
yeah.
the first 4 games.
But he got out
Yeah,
there and put out good tape, and now,
yep, 100% got that little bit of experience. And knock on wood, if somebody twists the ankle again or pulls something 3-4 weeks from
yeah,
now, he's already got that his toes wet. He's already been here before.
right.
Defensive line, you brought up Kenneth Grant, just a beast. I cannot. We kind of talked about it earlier, but I cannot. When I look at him, I see somebody like a Jalen Carter, where he
Yeah.
is literally. I imagine he's going to be a first round pick in the next 2 years, and I think
Mm-hmm.
just how physical he is and just dominating size wise. And he's just only getting introduced into this because we don't need him every down, and that's only helping everybody
Yeah.
stay. And yeah, no, so I agree with you. We just a lot of good things coming around our way. And it sounds cliche, but it's one of those, who does have it better than us? I take this team up against anybody.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I've told you a few different times, like, I just really think it's kind of do or die this year. It's like now or never. This is the last year of the 14 playoff. Next year you're going to have to potentially play, Washington, USC, UCLA, Texas, Ohio, Penn State, and then, a whole bunch of I think there's another one in there that could just really like make that schedule, pretty tough next year
Mhm.
on top of the playoff expansion. So yeah, I mean, I think we're really just kind of we're built for the long haul. I think we're built to you know play really anybody, like how they want to play. And yeah, I mean, I say this on here all the time too. Like we win them battles in the trenches consistently, and that's how you win every football game. We're doing that with ease right now. This is great to see.
Yes, and I think you are right. It's been a building block to this process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as from when Harbaugh first got in there to the defeats that we were having, the just getting our souls ripped out down in Columbus, getting our souls ripped out
Yeah.
in various stadiums, until to getting that monkey off our back, getting
Yeah.
to the playoffs, getting the brakes beat off us, getting to the playoffs again, losing in a tough route. I think it's slowly but surely. It makes sense that this year you can do all again, come back and win a game, and hopefully win 2 games. And
Mm-hmm.
and this is a conversation for a whole nother day. I think it's a good debate of whether um I think it depends on what you view success as. But I think them expanding the playoffs only helps our chances of getting in. Now, whether you expand the playoffs makes it a harder road to win is another story.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's such, imagine if in college basketball they only had it started with the Final Four. It started, you only got to win 2 games to win it, but every year there's 64 teams coming in, and there's that one team that's a Cinderella that can make a run, or a team that was a little beat up and now they got the players back and whatnot, and they get hot at the right time. I think that those are the type of things that we'll begin to see. But obviously, that's a conversation for another day.
For
I
sure.
don't think that necessarily hurts our chances of making the playoffs. Now, I think it makes the road harder once you get in,
For
uh,
sure.
because it's
Yeah. So
more diluted pool, but you got to play more games to get there.
right.
Versus you get
Yeah.
in, you're kind of gold already.
Yeah.
So but
And that's yeah, because I think like what I'm like alluding to is like, you just gotta win twice.
mhm.
Now it's like, you could be like that 8, 5, 6 seed. You might have to see like this conversation for another day, but like you might have to see like Ohio again. You might have to see Penn State again. You might end up seeing Ohio back to back weeks just because they're taking away the divisions now. So it's just teams with the top two records that are going to the Big Ten championship. So yeah, no, but like I said, I like BR Fedor. Love where how we came out and just really made a statement last game, and yeah, just wanted to kind of just turn the page and just touch on Minnesota a little bit. Before you and we hopped on here and we talked a little bit about PJ Fleck. I think this is one like how I kind of describe Minnesota, like or just like what they are. They're such like a coach's school. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't get the talent. Like they're just competitive because of like who's at the helm. So I give their coach like a lot of credit just on how he's kind of kept that program afloat. I can imagine it ain't that hard, it easy to recruit guys out that way either. So yeah, just wanted to kick it off to you, just see what your thoughts are, what you've learned about Minnesota and how you think Saturday will look.
Yeah, so I mean it's they're rolling out the red carpet for us. I think we got what 7:30 kickoff on the road. I'm gonna be on national TV, obviously. So I think they're rolling out the red carpet for us. Obviously, I imagine they're gonna have that crowd fired up, want to kind of have a field rushing type event. So I think that's the environment we're going into. And Coach Fleck can coach. I'm not. He obviously we seen what he did around these parts out in KZoo with Western. Getting them to, I think they played like what in the Cotton Bowl or some shit. They played like a legit bowl when he was there. That was last year before he left. So he can clearly coach. So he's gonna have them boys ready, and we got to go there and play. It's not a lay down type game. They lost to some teams that we just beat the shit out of, so that does give me some a little bit of more juice in the tank. But we got to come to play. Looking at their roster, looking at the teams, 193 rushing yards a game, but they're only averaging 342 yards of total offense. So, that with our, like you just said, our bone constrictor type defense, and I would love to see what they're going to do with a young quarterback, freshman running back, only getting like, what's that? 193 on the ground and 148 in the air is not, nothing, nothing our defense can handle. So it's a matter of just limiting those big plays for those just out of the ordinary, like Rutgers. I feel like every touchdown we've had this year has just been a massive play that we've given up. It's because we keep the locks on things so tight, and then just one little thing inches out at the last minute. Those are the type of things that we would have to try to avoid early on in that game.
Right.
Put the boot on the neck, take care of the football, and I imagine much of the same is what we've been doing.
Yeah. No, you hit it. Yeah, it's like get in, get out, just take care of business. I'm just kind of looking through their the box score for their Northwestern games. I think for me sometimes Northwestern it's kind of like that just tells me like that told me last year that like seeing Ohio play them, it kind of gave me, what I'm saying? It put some stuff out there. Not to like look in the past or just be in the past, but like they're like the measuring stick in the last few years for how good or how teams look against them just because they've been so bad like the last couple of years. So I feel like, they hung around with Penn State a little bit. Penn State ended up pulling away, in the second half. But I'm looking, Minnesota was up 24-7 at half against Northwestern. And then at one point we're up 31-10. Northwestern scored 21 in the fourth and ended up winning on a touchdown, game-winning touchdown in overtime. So I don't know. I just I look at that and I also heard about they've lost like 60-70% of like their production, like starters, just a lot of like guys like league or graduation or whatever. They're definitely just more of like feels like more of a rebuilding stage, to where like for us, what it's really going to be up until we get into that November, December timeframe, we just can't get in our own way. We just got to go in there. Can't give any, pick sixes, can't, give them the ball, can't be, like if obviously a big play will come here and there, them scripted first 15, like we don't know what they're going to do. Like teams kind of end up, doing what they do the first couple drives. But I feel like after that, we'll just, we should be able to
I agree.
in.
That's what's demoralizing. Like we did, that's a great point. Those first 15 plays, those first couple of drive, that's what they've been practicing. all week.
all week.
You know, everybody knows hey, when they call this play, I'm getting my touchdown. That's what happened to every, you know, and I think
Yeah,
you come there, you punch him in the mouth, you derail that, you get a Kenneth Grant interception, you sack him for, you know, a good 7, 8, 9, 10 yard loss
right.
and kind of
Behind
derail that whole
schedule.
situation. Yeah, get him like behind them change, behind schedule. And then you're doing nothing but punching them in the mouth on the other side of the ball on offense. Um, that's hard for teams to handle. And
Yeah.
so so it's kind of that 1-2 punch with you still in the word here, but with the defense, you know, kind of the you know you know, but it's the true statement when it kind of when you have the team built as they are, they lean into each other. You know, the defense is so good because the offense keeps them fresh. The offense is so good because they know the defense isn't going to allow them that many points. And they just got to take care of the ball. You know,
Right.
we're spelling and leaning into each other where we are playing as one unit. You know, as cliche as that is, I really think they've built this team well where they can. It's not everything flows together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not contrasting offensively, defensively, where you're like, damn, you know, there's a few years back even where defense was handling the ball, and then you're looking at the offense like, man, I don't know if they can get it together.
And vice
And then
versa. Yeah.
obviously go back 10, 15 years, the exact opposite plan, where, you know, we can put up 70 and we couldn't stop eighth grade,
Giving
you
up
know, team that ran the
65.
spread. Yeah, we couldn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I think, but we completely gelled that together, and where, you know, I mean, Harbaugh said it 3, 4 months back. We got 20 NFL guys on this team,
Yeah.
and it shows. You know,
Yeah. I think one thing I heard like that, like I gave me a little more peace of mind because I know we were on here last week talking about the run game, but it
mm-hmm.
sounds like they're, you know, we're like 10 deep basically. So it sounds like, you know, they're starting to be able to understand like what uh like group of old linemen, like
Yeah.
what are their strengths from a blocking standpoint, and now our Sharon Moore is starting to hit on those run plays. So because I do feel like the lanes, you know, Edwards. I mean, he's still kind of bottled up, which I think this week will be his breakout week. And then, but like, you know, Khalil, he's been looking solid, and I do like just getting like he needs the like I like him getting the ball like a little bit more just because like you know he's playing a little completely different position like since he's been in
Yeah.
Michigan. So I just like even what I saw around the run game, like Blake is starting to look like Blake again, like he is
Yes. Yeah.
back.
He's hitting those the holes well, making moves. Yeah. The Blake has been Blake. And Edwards, I think he just like you said, kind of bottled up.
Yeah,
Got to find his groove again. And
because that's always
but
last year. They started popping, he started shooting them off. You know, 60-yard touchdown here, 70-yard touchdown here, 85 yards here. Like
yes,
it's
yeah.
just
So I mean,
yeah,
just to focus on one thing, that Mullins last year he had 14 carries for 31 yards.
yeah,
This year he has 15 carries for 100 yards already. So obviously we want to keep the first two guys standing tall, but for this dude to be, you know, the sledgehammer, for lack of a better term, you know, if Blake's just a little gashed and you don't want to kind of run Edwards into to the wall, go ahead and bring in the sledgehammer, let him do what he does. But I think,
so you
yeah,
third
having
and
him,
short, fourth and
but
one.
also not. Luckily, he had a little bit of the X factor. He could, you know, he showed up versus Ohio last year and had a couple of plays that damn near saved the game. The pass being one of them.
Yeah,
But having that, getting him used to now where he could have 50, 40 carries under his belt heading into deep into the year, I think that only helps us
yep.
and keeps everybody fresh. That's the name of the game. Edwards, I'm definitely not hitting the panic button on it, but I was trying to see
Just
if I could
weird to
pull up
see.
the game log here, but his longest rush this year is 14 yards. Um, that was, you know, I mean, he was averaging half of that per carry last year. I think he was up over 7 a carry,
Yeah,
like
no, you're
6.8 or
right.
something. So he just gotta, you know, you gotta hone it in and kind of, you know, capitalize when he does get those carries. Similar to what we say about Gibbs, you know, you got to make it count. Um,
Yeah,
and
because I don't know if like I don't think this is it, but I don't know if like you know Mullins is kind of starting to creep in, and you know what I'm saying. I just think
take
it's
a
kind
few of
of.
them. Yeah,
I mean, Mullins got 100. Not Evers got 157, but he also has like 103 in the air. So
yeah,
like
yeah. Well, yeah,
he's
but but Yes. Edwards got 47 carries though on 3.3 yards a carry. When it,
Yeah.
that's the issue. If Mullins had 47 carries with the same amount of stat, he would damn near how many yards,
Mhm.
'cause I think Mullins, I just had it, but Mullins is up over 7 yards a carry,
Yeah.
6.7.
6.7. Yep. And yeah.
So you've dropped 50 carries on that. That's 300 yards.
Yeah. And I'll just say, like, because Edwards is who he is, I just think Mullen sometimes kind of fits more of like what we do.
Yeah.
Because Blake can run in between the tackles a lot better than Edwards can. Like Edwards can do it. He just more, you know what I'm saying? He's more like just,
Yes.
you know, speed
And it's
guy.
yes, and I think he will like this could be his breakout game and
Yeah.
or just merely he hits 150 yarder, that brings that average up to a respectable 4.5.
Right. For
So
sure.
it's a law of averages around him. But I think
Mhm.
he what was I trying to say? He just needs to, I don't know. I think at Michigan we did it with like AJ Henney, where if you could do too much, you almost get lost.
Yeah.
It's like we almost need you to be a specialist here. When you kind of show up with too much to the plate, we kind of just gets lost in the whole
Yeah.
equation of it all. Versus I run in between the tackles, or I'm a damn receiver. Like when you come in there, it's like, hey, I can kind of do both. They're like, oh, we're gonna try it out, and then all right, and then
Where it starts to.
eventually you're like, you're kind of on the back burner for both. And I
What's
hope that's not
interesting,
happening to him. But
yeah,
yeah,
because what's interesting, not to cut you off, but like what's interesting is I remember that 14-yard run. It was literally off of like a jet sweep, like handoff, and he just went and you know what I'm saying? Like that's like not that's just like not what we do all the time. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like we're gonna line it up double tight. And Mullins, I mean, I watched him fall forward like 4 or 5 different times on third down for like 5, 6 yards, where sometimes Edwards, he just like he's
Yeah,
not moving a pile. I'm not saying he can't. He just like Mullins just a more like a physical presence that just I think he kind of like he said the sledgehammer just hits it more like and that's more of like what we're known for, like what we do day to day. So like Haskins just had like he don't have the wiggle that like Haskins had better, was able to move a little better than Mullins, but like Haskins was just 6'2", 230. We just 30 carries a game, just
and you know what he was doing. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, it's kind of interesting thing to monitor. You know what I'm saying? I think I can see him going, 70 yards on the ground, 50-yard, receiving touchdown this week, and just that's kind of like, the floodgates opening.
right.
Yeah,
No,
I'm with you though. It's just kind of like, we're both just like, come on, want to
yes,
just kind of see it start to happen.
no, for sure. You wanna go ahead and give a score prediction?
Yeah, yeah, we can. I'll kick it off. I'm gonna say it's gonna be similar to last week. Watch both these teams play, start the season off, and it was a snooze fest. Minnesota and Nebraska. So I think we're gonna do similar to what we did last week. I think it's gonna be like a 42-10. I think they might be a little more competent on offense than Nebraska was. So I think we'll yeah, 42-10, 38-10 in that range.
Okay, that's where I was going. Yeah, I'm right. Honestly, right about the same ballpark. I'm a yeah. I'll go ahead and go. Yeah, maybe I throw a little spice on. Maybe like a little 45-13. Somewhere in
Yeah.
that little.
Night game, they might, yeah.
Yeah, I can see, but
Trick play, get a freebie
anything's
off.
possible. Yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. No, so something like that, but just a steady win and get the job done. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm with that.
those night games always amp the crowd up a little more. So
Yeah.
it's
And we didn't touch on the JJ a whole lot, but phenomenal game. I expect him to
yes,
like really just do what he did last week and just kind of stopped every, just really
yeah.
put
I
away
mean,
early.
yeah, he did what he's supposed to do. Took care of the ball. I love that he tucked and run for that 30-yard touchdown. Um, just keep that, do that every other game, and that defense had to play entirely different. So I just think, yeah, but phenomenal game.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, no, I'm excited to talk about this. God, we had the division rival on Thursday night at their crib and handle business. I was on a yeah from the first snap. Detroit Lions. This is we are in some very unfamiliar territory. Just coming off of a couple pretty solid showings, outings, I should say. I'm expecting a lot more. Something similar this week. Yeah, I'll throw it over to you here. Just want to see what you thought about that Packers game and just kind of how
No,
things transpired.
very pleasantly surprised. I kind of I had I forget the exact score prediction, but kind of a close win. I thought we were going to go there.
Twenty-four
I
seventeen.
think I used the word smash mouth, kind of a run fast smash mouth, and I think that was in. I don't know who the hell showed up, but I like it. They need to continue to show up as a unit. That team, they played good. Defense firing off the ball. Offense was moving the ball around. Laporta, I gotta tip my hat to him. I was on the fence about it, but
Laporta.
up there with some big dogs when you look at first 4 or 5 games of tight ends in history.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just looked. I had it pulled up still. I think I do. He is currently projecting, if you continue this out for the season, 94 catches, 1,029 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Love it.
That'd be the best tight end season in Lions football history.
Yeah, Pro Bowl numbers. I mean,
Yeah, so I guess third time's the charm because Ebron didn't work, Hawkinson wasn't it, and then so the third time's the charm. Ironically enough, it was the latest tight end we ever drafted as well. But I tip my hat to him. That defense, Hutch,
yeah,
even the way the game was called. I think just overall they look like they turned a page, and I'm not to get pessimistic again, but this is the thing you got to continue. You got to build on that and go ahead and take care of this team that everyone thinks you're going to wash up. You can't
yep.
come here and get egg on this next week.
Just handle it.
As far as taking care of business, it does seem like a hell of a long time ago. That Thursday to Sunday difference is crazy, but I was wishing that team could have played on Sunday. I'm sitting around about 12:50, wishing I had a Lions game to watch. And just because of how excited I am about them, just 3-1.
Yeah. This is best case. I think this is about what we talked about it a lot in the summer, like 3-0, 4-1. We're really just going to be, that was like the best case scenario for our first quarter of the season. Yeah, I think these back-to-back games that out in Green Bay, just to kick, to send Aaron Rodgers out of the stadium or the conference, the division, and then just to show up, on a Thursday night, I just this is like a complete game. I see what I did with Montgomery. See what I got him a little, paid him what they did. That's one thing we'll definitely touch on. But I know everybody Gibbs should be getting this, but Montgomery is he is like, I think he sees it on Twitter. He's like, I ain't no slouch myself, but he was told that thing.
Yes.
But yeah, I think, man, just I told you, I think I texted you, I think after that Seahawks game, I'm like, man, I just feel like, somebody said something, team meeting, something happened, because we have the best rush defense in the league. I think we're only giving them 60 yards a game right now, holding some very good backs to pretty below average games. We held Bijan to 40-something yards, and he had a $115 against the Jaguars on Sunday.
We're making good backs look pedestrian.
Yeah. And I think, and I just
night
think
and day from last year. Night and day.
And it's, these guys are out here playing physical. We got 10, 11 guys out. And they're out there playing physical. We had lost a couple guys at IR. We could have definitely mailed it in. After that, that's usually what happens, I feel like, as a Detroit Lions fan. But, the questionable flags in the second half of this game, they let them get that 50-yard bomb to the receiver when there was no more time left on the clock, and it's not a reviewable play. I just love what we just, because at that time I think it was 27, 14 or something like that. I think they got it to 27, 19 or something along the lines. and we ended up scoring like once in the second half just to kind of like close the door on it. But yeah, I just loved like what I saw, and it was just I'm like you. I mean, I think for me, like if they lose this game this weekend, I mean, like there's no excuse to lose this game this weekend.
No.
Like and I've heard the guy, I've been reading the quotes and listening to the press conferences, and all they've been talking about is how they gave up like 250 yards in the first half to this team last year. And this was why we did not make the playoffs. So I hope that, they all still feel that and handle business on Sunday.
Yeah. So I just to recap, the Green Bay game, it counts twice. You beat a rival on the road,
Yep.
division rival on the road. You got that under your belt now. And now it's just as far as collecting as many of them as you can. You're kind of you're a front runner now, for lack of a better term. The division's kind of in shambles.
Yeah.
It now is the time. You got to capitalize and you got to beat these winnable teams or these beatable teams. And Carolina's one, a young quarterback, looks flustered. 2 passing touchdowns through 4 weeks. Just check down city. Just is not looking good for them. He's growing through his process. Whether he's good or not down the line, we'll see. But now's the time to take advantage of that while they're going through that.
Right.
And pounce on that and just you did it to Jordan Love last week, replicate it again. And it should be easier with a guy who hasn't been in the league for 3 years or so. So that's what I'm looking for. Hutz to be in the backfield a lot. We got to tip our hat to him. He could easily be, I don't want to speak out of line here, probably if he keeps his trajectory up, the best Lions defender I've ever seen. If he and he's headed in that direction as far as
production,
on trajectory this year of like 14 sacks, like fucking 60 pressures. I think doing that type of stuff throughout year after year. Obviously, you got to keep it up, but he looks phenomenal, and getting another piece or two around him is only going to take the edge off of him as far as what they can do to defend him. So he's something special. I'm
just so impressed with him, just like his like all around game. You know what I'm saying? Like he's in the run game. He's in the, obviously showing up off the edge in the pass. And I think one thing that's just kind of like has transpired over the years, just with like all these stats and everything, is like the pressures. So like now it's like I feel like it's like it used to just be like a sack and that was it. But now like pressures are almost as bad as this, can kind of go hand in hand as just like a statistic.
Yeah, you're just being disruptive. Like you definitely rather had a sack, but it's
timing.
Yep.
Got guys throwing off the back foot. You're called, tip passes, interceptions. Like you're raising the chances for something to go wrong, like to go right for the defense on that play. And yeah, I just enjoy how he's been playing. Even that D line, there's a lot of like I feel like there's a lot of kind of like I don't want to call them no names like a negative way, but there's just some guys on there that have just been showing up that I'm just like, this is like it's just been really really impressive. And I'd love to see us, as things kind of go on in the season. I won't get too ahead of myself here, but man, if we can just continue to handle business, maybe take a swing at another defensive player or somebody else to kind of solidify some stuff to go into, making like a potential playoff run, that'd be more than ideal.
I've been seeing some names float around. It's just a matter of how much money they want to splash around, how much of a leap they want to take.
Right.
But I think I would be willing to take a risk on. I mean, what are you going to lose? I think
Crosby.
Hey,
Mad Max and Hutch on each side.
Bro,
I've just got crazy boat. Like they lead the league in pressures.
Yeah. Hey, somebody like that.
Yeah.
I would definitely do it. And I think
or D tackle.
That'd be so much like more momentum for the team. And I agree, but it starts with Carolina taking care of them.
Yep.
The game got flexed. No, that was the week after versus Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
The game got flexed. So I think the league's starting to take notice. We started to get a little, and we gotta,
they treat us like Taylor Swift.
It might be the league's darling, but you only stay a darling if you keep winning. And
right.
and I don't know, just keep collecting these wins. Get this Carolina on your belt. You got to go on the road for 2 games after that, 2 losable games.
Yeah.
So I think 4-1. Tampa Bay is very beatable, but on the road they look okay. I hate to give Baker any praise, but he looks okay.
Yeah.
And then turn around and you got Lamar and company. So definitely you got the next couple of weeks here. You can cheat or totter back and forth a little bit. So go ahead and steal this win versus the young quarterback before you got to play a couple of tough road games. So
I know you picking it for that Ravens game already.
right. Yeah, we go ahead and say that score now.
Yeah. Him be in the living room by Lamar Jackson jersey on a Lions hat, like. Yeah, no, big game this weekend though. I think Bryce Young, he's surprisingly looked like surprisingly, but not surprisingly, he's looked like a deer in the headlights. It's their team is pretty bad. I think like for me, their team is a prime example of like just how social media can just like kind of throw up these like put like lipstick on a pig essentially. And then when you get into the season, you see like the result of what everybody thought they did. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you knew they were going to struggle a little bit trading all the stuff they did just to get him. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the Vikings made things hell for him, and I think we have way better team than the Vikings do. So
no, I agree with that. But I'm a little surprised at how bad he is. The him and CJ Stroud comparisons. I think
yeah,
CJ Stroud's arguably on a worse team. I think
yeah, that's
it's been a little interesting. But I'm just looking. Bryce Young stats just look like I'm trying to think.
you already missed the game. I saw that.
I was going to say for the season 65% completion. You would think is good, but then one game was 52, one game was 78. So it's like who are you getting? Are you getting a guy that's 28 of 30, or are you getting a guy that's 25 32? So I
Yeah,
think it's yeah.
his ratings 93.2. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just
Yeah.
because it ain't bad, but I've just been
Not
seeing
like the wheels haven't fallen off yet, but he also ain't got
right.
it together. It's kind of teetering.
Yeah. Cause it ain't like it ain't like he like they about to sit him down or nothing. But yeah, I think he'll probably get on track. I just don't think this weekend.
No,
I think
no.
he'll get on track in a couple weeks.
You're
So
gonna get on his ass this weekend, right?
right, yeah, but still, yeah. But yeah, we're
He's
gonna
gonna
move
and
on.
just to talk about Hutch real quick.
Yeah,
I mean, I know he did, but I pulled it up. Projected 15. He's on pace for 15 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, 13 pass deflections. That's fucking big time.
you
That's
can't beat that. Yeah,
yeah. So you do that a couple of times, and you're well on your way to be solidified as top, 2, 3, 5 defender in the league,
yeah,
defensive lineman in the league.
for
So
sure. It
yeah.
better start.
And my apologies if I jumped out the window with best defender. I know obviously we got Sue, Slay, Dre Bly. I mean,
No, it's tough.
I'm trying
Well,
to think of
football,
his
yeah,
trajectory like moving forward. I think he's in that realm where if he keeps it up,
yeah.
he's special. Yeah.
And football's tough too, because like we got a lot of solid guys like in their like prime. We got it for like 3 or 4 years. Like Sue was here for like 7 years and left. So I got you. Like, I mean, I ain't I ain't like disagree. I think he definitely, next couple years to be in that like top 10 best
Yeah.
defensive players. It ain't like hell. I know it ain't been a lot of them. like you know what I'm like a lot, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. No, I like where like he's trending in the right direction. I mean, I think it's funny. He's kind of had a couple of slow starts these last couple of years, and then just is really like, you know, get a game or two in, get his feet wet, and just it's
Yeah.
really like no looking back from there. So
100%. And if they had like almost sacks, I mean, obviously that's what the rushes is, but he's almost gotten like 5 more where, like
yeah,
he just he gets a little excited and he just overruns it or some shit. Like all
yeah,
that come with time though.
mm-hmm. That's just that motor. But yeah, what you score
A little
prediction?
projection here.
Yeah,
Ooh. Um, I'm gonna go. I just don't. I don't want to ride us too high. I'm gonna go 31, 31-17.
Okay.
30. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
somewhere in that comfortable. I think they probably would move the ball on us a little bit, type of deal. But I think we just that might be one of those games. It might really be like a 31-10 last second. They get a little something. I think it was one of those steady game in hand, and we kind of just ride off, not so bad.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I would say the score is gonna be I would say it's gonna be like 27, like 27-13, like 27-10. I
Yeah.
think, we still got some guys a little banged up. I think receiving core. We didn't even talk about getting JMO back, but now we can just see what happens. And then
Let's not even put no pressure on them because I don't
yeah,
even.
no, right. Yeah. I just said that to like I'm not even going I think a score's gonna be
I've
like
already
20.
they already trying to put him on the Kawhi thing, talking about he only limited reps. Like, look, get this
Yeah.
motherfucker out here. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, I know he's gonna be out the gate. He caught 3,300 footballs in his little jug machine at the crib, fully healthy. Looking forward to some potential fireworks.
Yeah. You said he bet 3,300 on what? No, you said
Let's see, Roger gonna be like,
he,
call him up again.
no,
But yeah,
no. We can. I guess we touch on that. I mean, obviously, I'm excited to get him back. I just don't want to have no pressure on him because I know overall I've obviously been slightly harder on that pick in general, and I know he's talented. I just want him to fucking go produce, and I don't.
yeah,
Um, and I don't want to have the expectations of, hey, we thought we were going to get back in 2 weeks, so we had a different timeline of what we thought, and we
hmm,
don't want to throw him in the offense that's working right away, and I could see all that. So I don't want to have no expectations.
right,
And I even heard Dan Campbell talk about, I want to make sure he just runs the right routes, and like I'm like, what are we talking about here? So, obviously I want him to go out there and play and produce, but
yeah.
it's I think time would tell. I don't know if this is the week. They got him back a little bit early, but I
I hope
would
they like.
want some protection. Good. Let's get a little slant. Put your foot in the ground. Let's get a little something.
I want play action post.
Yeah.
I want him to. I want them to like get him to blow that top off, fades, posts, like get him up. Get that game speed. You know what I'm saying? Like really, just get him like ease him in, obviously, but just want to see what it looks like when he's consistently running these mid to long routes and just
Keeping that safety honest.
yeah.
Keeping. Yeah.
Because Laporta already leading, he's already breaking records. I mean, I think added him to the equation. Like the St. Brown, he already got like a toe injury, abdominal injury. Like we got him like he caught like 15 passes against the Seahawks. Like you got to like take a little pressure off of him and
Yeah.
get JMO worked in a little bit.
No, you ain't lying about that. No, it should be going. I'm just ready for this team. I'm excited to watch them play. I think
Yep.
go out there and you go out there and win this. That Tampa Bay game is ours to lose as far as I'm concerned. And
Yeah.
then you going into Baltimore 5-1. And that's a hell of a game right there. That's game of the week type shit.
Mhm.
And then that's a measuring stick. So I think you go. Next you go take care of business next couple of weeks. We could really see who we all are. And yeah, I don't know. Just hype. I'm hype. We in a
Yeah.
good spot.
Absolutely.
First quarter of the year, taking care of business. Second quarter of the year starts on Sunday with a winnable team. So
Yeah.
yeah,
With that, yeah.
100%.
That being said, got anything else for the people?
No sir.
All right. We'll be back with y'all next week to just touch
Peace.
on the aftermath of both games.
Yes sir.
Peace out.